What's happening, man? I think you're on mute, bro.
I'm on mute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
You're the bird.
Hey? Am I blurred?
Birds.
Burned. Like by the sun.
Birds.
Oh, yeah, I hear birds. Yeah.
Give me a heart dog.
Hello and welcome to Bleed Extra. This is the show where we talk about the show about advertising and more with myself, Ryan Whyte, and Jacque Moodley.
Hey, yo.
Myself, Ryan Whyte, freelance graphic designer, and joined always by Jacque Moodley, art director. And
Permanent art director.
yeah, what's that?
I'm permanent art
Permanent.
director. I'm always
Yeah.
just an art director.
Yes.
Yeah.
Permanently.
Always.
That's your permanent state is you just art directing, even if during your off time you're like framing things like this.
Yeah, dude. Even I'll direct my dreams. What I was gonna say is, even if I sometimes I think about having a perm, then I'd be a perm art director.
Oh man,
I don't think I have enough here.
you were working on that.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
working on it.
So
I've got.
you got time. You got time on your side, bro. So I thought for this installment, episode 3 of Bleed Extra, we would just continue with the Advertising 101 series. So just to recap, last week we spoke about our fantasy agency, and we conveniently left out traffic, and I think we overlooked them, and I think that was maybe not such a good thing because they're kind of a very integral part of an agency.
I think traffic keeps getting overlooked, man. Those guys are the nucleus or whatever they call it of the agency.
They're the thick skin.
You forget.
Yeah.
They work so well, you forget that they're there. That's the thing about good, when things work well, you forget that they're there. So
yeah.
Thanks, traffic.
Thanks, traffic.
Love you.
So yeah, I think just to continue with this, we should do the journey of a job bag, or like a job. So we follow the life cycle of a job, because now we've got our fantasy agency. The first thing that happens when you have an agency is you get the job, you take the brief from client, right? So I thought, let's go through the steps of how a job works in an agency. Right. So
maybe we should start at client side. Client side.
Yeah, we can do. Because I mean, I've just got written here. We've got a fancy agency with our dream clients. So how do we bring home the gold and the gold, if you know what I mean? Because we've got our cash cow and our awards cow.
Awards cow, see, nice throwback. I was going to say we'd have to start at the client side and figure out, because they obviously have a problem, right? So client has to go. I need to sell more. I don't know, sugar water, or I need to get more market share, or I need to get more people to use my credit card versus the other bank's credit card. It starts there, right? It starts with a problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, that could be their problem. Maybe they're in an abusive relationship with their current agency. That could be. And then the business going out for pitch, like there could be many reasons.
Okay. But I mean, a brief in essence is a problem document.
Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. So let's start there. Okay. So we're not dealing with a pitch. We've won the clients already. Now they're giving us a brief.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. So we're going to have to get Clement McIntyre to go and take the brief for us.
Yeah.
Right. So
either Opel Corsa Light or via Zoom.
Okay. Let's, for the sake of this thing, just say that we weren't working remotely. We've got our dream agency, and he can be in his OPC Opal. Is it an OPC one, or is it one of the old ones?
I think he's got one of the old ones, but he's hoping when he gets to BUD level to buy the OPC.
Yeah. Maybe he kind of souped it up that it looks like an OPC.
It's got OPC rims and one of those bonnet, those fake bonnet like scoop mouth things.
Yeah.
So it looks like it has needs more air than it does because it's blocked, right? So there's no hole into the bonnet to get to the engine. It's just a scoop on the top to give the impression that it needs more air than it does.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's black. It's on the side.
So okay, so neither of us are account managers, right? So
Not at all.
what is your experience in dealing with the process of taking a brief? Do you have any insights? Have you spoken to anyone? I've never gone to take a brief, but I can tell you what it's like when they get back from taking a brief. A client service director or a client service manager, they're kind of smug. Oh, I took the brief with the client, and they're like almost like that's their time to shine because they're not really. So there's two parts where a client service director will shine. So I think the first time is when they take the brief because they're harnessing that relationship. They're kind of like a little bit smug about it. They come back, they celebrate. Oh, you should have seen what I said to the client. It's that kind of vibe. In your experience, do you have any experience with that kind of interaction?
No, I just find the brief on my desk and then have to run around the agency looking for client service to explain to me what they want. Because sometimes they just send you an email or they leave this massive envelope on your desk and you go, well, what the fuck?
Okay.
So I always find that sometimes it helps just to talk to your creative and tell them what the fuck's going on as opposed to just assuming he'll read your 16 paragraph brief and just know what he needs to do. Just talk to him like a person.
For the sake of this discussion, let's say we're taking a brief on not just like a day-to-day job, but say for instance, because this is our fancy agency, so we're actually taking a job on quite a big campaign. So I think it would be different. I don't think they would just slap a job bag on your desk. I think we'll book a boardroom and get in there. So I've got you step one, take the brief. So Clement's gone, you schmoozed with the client, they've had cappuccinos, whatever they've done, taken the brief, and then you actually have to book out a boardroom and then brief the team. Yeah. So I've got key things in a briefing. Well, first of all, who's in the briefing? It's the creative team, strategy, traffic, and not DTP. So the key things in a briefing, I've got you create a campaign, develop a strategy, develop a concept, write copy, design visuals, set up reviews, and then ensure everyone is aware of the deadline. So that's where traffic comes in.
So I'm saying it's not a pitch, right? It's just a normal brief because I was like, somebody has to order Nando's if it's a pitch.
Yeah. No. We've got the business. Yeah. Cool. So after the briefing, the job doesn't start yet, right? Because you need a job bag. So the creatives play foosball, they drink coffee, they do whatever they need to do. And then I've got step two, you got to job bag it up. And that's when traffic creates a job bag with the necessary info from the client service, from client service, including reviews, interim deadlines, and the final deadline for the client presentation. So pretty much straightforward so far, right? Step two, create the job bag. Then step three, we have to commence with the creative process. Now we've received the job bag, right? So I've just written a few fancy words for starting with the creative process. So I've got conceptualization, ideation, brainstorming.
Oh.
What?
You've jumped a step.
What's the other step?
Strategy, obviously. We forgot about strategy. Strategy has to strategize for 2 weeks. And then it comes to creative.
Yes. Okay. So what's creative doing in this time then?
foosball, and
Foosball.
coffee,
Okay.
and other briefs that are quick
Okay, fair
emergency
enough.
briefs.
They're doing ad hoc. They're doing ad hoc stuff. Okay. So
While
strategy. Yeah.
does things. Well, strategy does whatever strategy does.
Okay, fair. Okay. Thank you for checking me before I wrecked myself there.
Yeah, bro. Always.
Cool. Okay, so Strat go away, they do their thing, then they brief us. Then there's another briefing. That's what you're telling me. So we've already done the initial briefing, we've done ad hoc stuff. Now there's another briefing because then they brief Strat in. Right? Now we have to do creative based on the Strat. Okay, got you. So the key things in the conceptualizing process, I've just written a few things here. We've got the Strat, we find like a nice think tank or a brainstorm pod, or maybe offsite, maybe we go to bowling club, have a few pints, that kind of thing. And let's see what else. Then obviously the first review is coming up, right? With creative director. And this is kind of like a sub process, which I've just called the 3 R's. So review, rejection, and then restart. I think is pretty accurate. Nice. Don't you think?
Yeah. And you'll recycle old ideas.
You'll never get through the first review.
Never, bro. Never. Don't come with your best ideas up front. Keep them for the 3rd review.
Okay, cool.
Get all the nonsense out of the way.
Yeah. Then I've just written 2nd review, 3rd review, and so forth. That's how we carry on for a while. Then finally, we get concept approval from the CD. Everyone loves the idea. Yeah. Strat's on board, account management's on board. We're all celebrating. And there's plenty of time before the client presentation. Things are going well. Then client service comes back because they've sent like an email to the client, and then they say, the Strat's wrong and we have to restart. Right? So then we repeat that process. And then finally, now everyone's on board. So I've got here step 4A, which is the big presentation with the client.
Yeah, now we've got, but that's 2 days before the presentation, we got the new Strat. So we've got 2 days. The creative has 2 days to now work on this new strategy platform. So now we've run out of time.
Now the Nando starts.
And we've got 2 days to solve creative.
Yeah.
Now the Nano starts happening, and all those ideas that were rejected in the first review start popping up. Pull them back out the drawer. So you go through your notebook, you go, oh, hey.
Yeah.
Your moleskin.
Can you describe
the skills come out?
Yeah. Can you describe the mood just before going into a big pitch or a client presentation? What's happening? Like, I think there's scrambling with decks. There's last changes to slide forwards, like all that kind of stuff, right? Clemens fucking panicking.
Strategies changing.
Yeah.
Target markets, and they're trying to identify a new African entrepreneur name.
Yeah.
So they're trying to come up with a new name for guys who earn 30 grand a month and are 25 to 40. So that's that.
Yeah. So I think Clement's role in so first of all, who's going to the presentation? So we've got account manager, we've got Strat, and then the creative team. That's generally who's in that final client presentation. And I think Clement's role would be, he'd be like the master of ceremonies almost. So he'll be just conducting things. He'll give a bit of a background. He'll introduce people, maybe crack a little bit of a joke to, like curry a bit of favor and like break the ice a bit. And then,
but he'll also oversell or overpromise what the concept will deliver. He'll be like, "This is the greatest campaign I've ever seen. Do you remember that one ad by Nando's a couple of years ago? It's better than that. Whatever." And the creators are going, "What the fuck, Clement? Shut the fuck up." Well, he gives the punchline away. Like I've had this recently where someone like gave the punchline of what I've just done away in the beginning of the meeting. I was like, "Oh. Cool. So when it gets to my turn to talk, everything I've had to say is gone." I'm just like, well, here's the work. You've heard what client service said. Anyways,
You've also got like 10 slides that builds it up with case studies and like.
yeah, and you just go straight in. He's like, well, I can't wait to tell you this, but basically the idea is, you know, push it to the limit or whatever, or I don't know. He's just like, cool, thanks, man. We're all manifesto building up to it, but yeah, thanks, Clement. But you don't say it. You smile and nod. Because Clement wants to be the superstar, bro. He just doesn't have the juice.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things that typically happen in these presentations will be like, can you go back to slide 3? I need to see that again. But you're really like on slide 63, and then you're going like,
Venn diagram.
yeah, Venn
I see the Venn
diagram.
diagram again.
Yeah. Then my favorite thing is there'll be like a recap slide because it's a 200 slide presentation. So halfway through, let's recap. And then it's like, you could have actually just skipped straight to that slide. Anyways, then the client, okay, so now we've presented, then it's the client's turn to like chime in with their comments and intriguing remarks and questions. So that happens for a bit. Then what happens? We go back to the agency, we celebrate, we're like, everything is brilliant.
Yes.
Okay.
And then clients.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
I don't know. I'm just saying. And then client sends an email, and it can go one of two ways. We love the work, but we need it done by next week, or we hate everything. Start again. But they were very nice in the meeting, but like over email, they're like the worst people in the world. They're like, you guys are fucking terrible. You've wasted 4 weeks now. It's a simple brief. Why is it taking so long?
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on with this agency?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what I've written here is, so step 4B, so 4A is the big pres, and then I've got a subsection here. While we're celebrating, we're carrying on with ad hoc stuff. Then 2 weeks later, we get an email from clients, and it would usually go like this. Client rejects the work, but the initial strat that we didn't improve internally, they actually like that, but they like the creative that's based on the non-improved strat. So can we merge the new strat's creative with the unapproved strat? It'll always be something like that.
Yeah.
And then we'll end up doing like a bit of a Frankenstein.
That's the best of both.
You too. Yes? Hey? Quite a good scene, isn't it? One man crazy, 3 very sane spectators. Yes. Yes, the badges. It's moving. It's alive. It's alive. It's moving. It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. Oh, in the name of God. Now I know what it feels like to be God.
Yeah, we have to like merge all that stuff, and then Yeah. And then we basically repeat step 3, which is the review process. And then I think by now we've actually milked quite a few hours. So I think it's all part and parcel of, running a sustainable, profitable business.
I think we've got what it takes, man. This sounds like it sounds like it. This is the template. This is the blueprint for any agency.
Yeah.
We nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are we not starting an agency?
We are, bro. This is all part of it. But I mean,
okay.
That's my worst thing. Like, you'll present a strat, then they'll be like, no, we don't like that. Then it's kind of like, okay, cool, we'll come up with a new strat. Then you create artwork for the new strat. Then everything's cool. You present that, client doesn't like it. They'll be like, oh, but we had a previous strat. Okay, cool. What is that one? No, we love that. And then you present artwork for that. Then they'll be like, no, but we like the artwork that you created based on the incorrect strat. Can you take the artwork you based on the incorrect strat and merge it with the new artworks? And then it's just like, where's the idea? Where's the creativity? Because you're just like,
the strategy is completely different. They're like, I don't know, completely different campaigns. But now they're like, but we just want this. We want this second art direction or visual, and we want this strategy. Make it work. How the fuck? Because creative is inherently well, not inherently, but if the creative is informed by the strat, as it should be, then it's hard to just merge those two things. If like you stuck to the strategy and the platform, whatever, it's impossible just to make creative now work with this different strategy. I don't know. I don't know what the analogy is here, but.
No, but I feel like there's a lot of that going on where it's just like merge it, make it work because it needs to tick a box, not because it solves a business problem, not because it's a good idea. It's like we've got these KPIs and KPAs, these like little check boxes. So strat needs to be in line. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you've really solved the problem and it just so happens not to tie into the strategy. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe strat is very important and I'm kind of maligning them a little bit, but.
No, I'm not saying they're not important. I just think that we could have skipped 2 weeks. We could have skipped 2 weeks of back and forth. If we just went, here's the problem, and creatives go, okay, well, here's a solution for that problem. I guess the in-between thing is where it kind of gets complicated. I don't know. But I mean, it wouldn't be there if it wasn't necessary, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, so I think giving strat a bit of a hard time, but I think a lot of agencies, they strive to get all the teams working together cohesively, strats, account management, and creatives. I think that's a very difficult thing to get right, to get that relationship going where they're pulling in the same direction. Because if you think about the 3 different mindsets, you've got creative where you're supposed to be out there and whimsical and like, okay, then you've got account management because they're all about like deadlines and KPIs and KPAs and making sure we've checked all the boxes. And then there's strategy where they bring in like market or consumer insight, and they're thinking of ways to like penetrate niches, I don't know if that's an actual term, but it sounded good in my head. It sounds a bit rude. But
unless you were and like a pedophile.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got these 3 different mindsets and you're supposed to get, huh?
Sean Connery died recently, right?
Yes, he died recently. Yeah. Penetrate niches. That's the second time I've done a bad Sean Connery impersonation. But
Sean Connery, though. Does anyone?
Yeah, Sean Connery, absolute legend. I loved him in that movie, The Rock, with Nick Cage. Best movie ever, next to Con Air. Anyways. He was in The Rock.
I always confuse him and Anthony Hopkins, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who's Anthony Hopkins?
He was the Hannibal Lecter, bro. Hannibal Lecter.
I always confuse Sean Connery and Anthony Hopkins for some reason.
two great grey actors, British actors.
Pretty much.
Is Anthony Hopkins British? Yeah, he is. So anyways, so now we've got these three different mindsets. Hey? Sean Connery's,
Okay.
what is he, Scottish?
No, he was Scottish.
Mhm.
No, that's why he had the. Anyways, sorry, go on.
So I'm just saying, so now we've got these three different mindsets where you've got the analytical side, you've got the deadlines, very factual side, and then you've got the creative side, which is like all like be out there. And you're supposed to melt them all together and then produce something that you're proud of, you can get on board with. But I think there's a lot of disparity. There's a lot of like Frankensteining, you know, where you're kind of like making it work. Where I think back in the day, and we've spoken about this before, where it was like the brief came in, client service cool, I'll make sure everything's cool with the clients. I don't think there was strategy back in the day. And then they were like, creative team, go and do your thing. They went to pubs, they came up with idea, they came back. And then client service would be like, that's a little bit risque, tone that down a bit, just align it with the brand and whatever. And then you kind of like, not necessarily watered it down, but they made sure that, you know, things were cool. And then they presented and then it was done, you know.
Yeah.
What's happening now is like a little bit hectic. But maybe, yeah, like you say, maybe it is good because things are complicated now. There are lots of different things that you have to take into account, you know? So, yeah.
I think, yeah, the process was a lot simpler back in the day. So I've got a friend, he was my old CD, Ian Franks, and he used to tell me when a brief came in, like literally as soon as a brief came in, it landed on your desk, they were, like you're saying, they went to the pub and they drank, and then they'd spend maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes talking about the brief and then continue drinking. And then the next day they would come in, go to the pub, talk about the idea, and then drink. And then maybe like a week later, they'd go to client, they'd organize. All client service had to do was basically book meetings. They were like, okay, client service, we'll bring you the idea. When do you want to have a meeting? They like, go Friday. They go, okay, we'll have an idea for you on Friday. And then they go into the meeting and they present the idea. And there's no review process. There's no like, does it meet the strategy? Does it go onto this thing? They say the golden era of advertising, man. It sounded like the most fun you could have. I remember there was an old saying, the most fun you could have with your clothes on. Advertising used to be that.
Sure. That was.
I don't know, man. We should definitely get into it.
What's that?
It used to be like the most fun you can have with your clothes on. I'm saying we must get Franks on the show because he's just got like his like stories and anecdotes of advertising and what we're used to, like so completely different. They're just like, yeah, there was before strategy and before social media and before a 360 campaign. It was just ideas, man. It was a good idea. You need to sell this product or you need to sell your glue. So what they did is they stuck a car on a billboard and they're like, it works rather well. That was like literally one of his ideas. And I was just like, the simplicity of it and like the big idea-ness of it and the braveness of the client. Is braveness a word?
I think it's bravity.
That one. Like, it was just so simple back then. And like now we've got, like, no disrespect, but we've got like all these platforms and social media and tick boxes and chase lists and banner sizes and
Timesheets.
the idea, man. It's all the idea. Yeah, the big thing is the idea. And
yeah.
what's the best way to demonstrate this problem-solving thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool when you also display like a human insight where it's like that actually gives you a look into human behavior, and you kind of like play on that, you know, if your idea stems from that, and that should be powerful enough. It shouldn't have to be like, okay, cool, we all get that. That's really like. That for me is a good idea. When you look at something, you identify with it, you kind of say to yourself, that's quite funny. I never really thought about that, but I do that every day. That's a cool thing.
Yeah, but I think that's why like advertising is a little bit like stand-up comedy, right? Stand-up comedy, all the stand-up comedians just tell you like stories that resonate with you, right? They tell you, hey, remember when like you were broke and like you wanted ice cream? And like you get so excited when the ice cream man came, and then at some point your ice cream fell. That's a very like dated example, but it's like they just find these like stories that resonate with you, or like, well, you know what I hate when you're in the airport or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Shit like that, where you go, I do hate that at the airport. That's a real human thing. Like everybody experiences this, but nobody's addressed it. Nobody said anything about it.
Yeah.
When you see yourself something a problem, we talk about shows all the time, and when you see yourself in a character, whether it's Walter Whyte or like a guy working in like an incredible connection in Australia, when you like see that character and it resonates with you, man, that's like, yeah, it has an emotional. There's an emotional exchange, right? You like resonate with this character, you feel something for them because it reminds you of you. And I think advertising should do that. Advertising should be like a mirror, whether it's like a glossy mirror with lights around it or like a very dirty, dusty, scratched mirror. You should stop in like the communication that's for you. Ideally.
Okay. So yeah, just to wrap up the steps, or like let's just recap. So step 1, take the brief. Step 2, brief the agency. Step 3, get Strat involved. Then step 4, creative process. Then step 5, big presentation. And then finally, step 6, which is rollout. Now we're going to roll out the idea, right? All the approved offers. Yeah. So we begin that process. What's that process like? That's like the ad hoc stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah, and that has a lot of internal reviews and back and forth with client, and that can go anywhere from like 2 weeks to like 3 months or 6 months, even, depending on how big the campaign is.
So let's take it on month 3, right? So month 3, they'll be like, okay, cool. I know you've done all this work, but we've decided to repurpose a previous campaign that we've done to align with global guidelines. And then you scrap all the work and then you land up like templating, whatever global's doing. Has that ever happened to you? Why do you look so sad, man?
No, it never happens to me. No, it's happened, obviously.
So that's like the dream dasher, man. So now we've been through this process. We've like stressed out. We've eaten like countless orders of takeout. Everyone's stressing, whatever. And then there's just a big call from global saying, scrap what you've done. We're aligning to global. It's based on a previous campaign. You just need to localize now. You just need to add the vernac or the whatever, Yeah.
Hola, Zan. Yeah.
One of my worst things is when we receive like a global asset, but they filmed it in like French, and then they give you the dubs.
Yeah, and then you have to like put like a South African voice on it, but it's like completely,
and change the song, and you have to edit with whatever footage they've given you, and you kind of have to like, oh, that looks a bit like Cape Town. Cool, put that in.
Yeah. Some Nictiki shots or whatever it is. Like,
and then you
close-ups, just close-ups.
Yeah, you mix it with a bit of stock footage as well.
Exactly, like a flyover, like, I don't know, Kwamashu or something.
Yeah. And then, okay, so I've got the very final step of everything is DTP. So we've created this convoluted. Yeah, Brendan. We've got Brendan. He's been playing Call of Duty this whole time. And yeah. And now, like at the 11th hour, when it's print deadline, everything needs to go live, then we're like, cool, make it happen.
And then Brendan's like, why is everything in RGB? Why is nothing in CMYK?
Yeah. Why are links missing?
Yeah, links missing. All the colors are messed up now. Your logo's like low res. They don't have the vector logo.
DPI.
Eh?
72 DPI.
Yeah, and he has to retouch it. He has to blow it up to like 600 DPI, 1200 DPI for billboard, which I never understood because like billboards are printed at 72.
Somebody used the Google image.
I've never done. That's why I'm not DTP because I don't.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't have the rights to the image or like the licenses. Production comes in. Do we have production as a department yet?
No, that's another overlooked. Sorry, Alex.
Production comes in at the last minute, says we can't use an image of that guy because he hasn't been paid for the next 24 or 12-month usage fees. So we have to now quickly find another image of, or like the back of him, because we can't use him because he didn't sign the NDA or whatever it is, the agreement. So yeah, and then it's
I
in
think,
DTP.
yeah, I think that
And
kind of,
DTP late night.
yeah.
Oh well, fuck life. Because now we have to use the images from Global and hasn't signed releases for everyone.
Mm.
So now we have to go for stock images that look like the guy from the ad.
Have you ever done this, right? So using an international asset, or you kind of have to localize I don't know, a global campaign, but obviously you're going to receive assets that are that pertain to the country that it's from. Have you ever been asked to change like skin color of like like a shot?
I was gonna say we've all made a white. We've all done it.
Why?
We've all done it.
You can't find the
In
right.
fact, I had to do the
You had to?
opposite. I had to turn a black. I had to go the reverse the other day, and I was like, "This is not the other day. This was like 2 years ago, or whatever." It's like, yeah, it's funny. If I say more about it, it would like tell you who it was, but like. There's always like a shot of a hand on that screen, and then like it was always black, and then for this ad we had to make it white because the character was white. It was a weird thing, man. Such a weird thing. But yeah, I've changed many a hand. It's always easy to go from light to dark, dark to light. Better off getting a stock image.
Yeah. So I think that kind of wraps it up. You know, the journey of a job bag. I think throughout this whole process, I think the job bag's maybe about this thick, and it's tattered. It's got Nando sauce on it. It's got tequila on it. It's in shambles. So yeah, I think that's pretty much. And then I think it's rinse repeat, man. We get another brief, and that's basically just to give the viewers out there that are not up to date with how advertising works and a job that's briefed into the agency, you know, the life cycle. I think that's pretty much sums it up, and it's pretty accurate. I think that's, yeah. I'm willing to stake my on that.
Yeah, I mean that's been our lives for the last decade or so, and I mean, you know, it's still surprising every day, but that's pretty much the routine.
But not
Who
in
is this for?
way.
Who is from this discussion?
Who's going to benefit from this discussion?
I'm
having a good time.
Hey?
I'm having a good time.
I'm having a great time. I wonder, like, are we like doing the opposite of like trying to sell advertising to people? If people hear this, people who aren't in advertising, they'll go, I don't want to do that.
I think
you think people will be like, this sounds cool.
Yeah. I mean, we're making a lot of these things sound bad, but they're not bad. You know, it's exciting. You know,
there's lots of fun between this process, and it's like coming up with that idea, even if it gets killed by clients.
Yeah,
there's that gratification coming up with something that is cool and could work.
You can't have a thrill without a spill, man.
Yeah, but even if it dies on the boardroom table, at least it like lived for a bit, you know.
I mean,
you have all these hopes in it. Babies.
Yeah, I mean, it's had enough of an effect that we are bringing it up now, you know, and it's providing entertainment for at least you and I. So, you know, if not entertainment, but like a release, you know. Therapy session.
It's like PTSD. We're like going through our PTSD. Except it's not.
Okay.
Like war times.
So just to wrap up, what would you say is your favorite part of the creative process or the journey of a job bag? Which is the part that you enjoy the most?
Bowls Club.
Bowls Club. So right in the beginning, yeah. Okay.
Right in the beginning, man. When the potential and the sky's the limit, and you can do whatever you want, and you can really like make something that resonates with people. I think that's the best part. That's why we're in this, right? It's like all the other stuff is it's like we have to deal with it to get to the good stuff. It's like a relationship. You have to like, you have fights or whatever, but there's moments in the relationship that are just like blissful. And it's that makes it worth it.
So you like the beginning phase of a relationship where it's the honeymoon phase? Is that what you're talking about?
I mean, I guess, but what I'm saying is like, there's a lot of shit you have to deal with in a relationship. Like there are going to be fights and what do you want to eat? I don't know what I want to eat. What do you want to eat? I don't know what I want to eat. And like, who's going to wash the dishes? But there's those little moments in the relationship where like everything's okay and you guys are sitting on the couch and whatever it is. And that's like the best part. And that's, I find like the idea of the brainstorming session of like advertising is those little moments where you go, that's a great idea. You and your partner go, that's it. That's going to kill. People are going to love that idea. And it might live and it might die. But those moments are like what make it all worth it.
Yeah.
And that's advertising.
And especially with so like after all the tribulations that you go through, all like the traps and whatever, for your idea to survive makes it even that more rewarding, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, it might change. Idea might not look exactly like you intended it to look initially, but if the core of it's still there, man, yeah, it is rewarding to see something that you came up with between 2 pints and a pizza live, and it's like it's on a billboard and it's on TV and people are like, oh, did you see this ad?
Yeah.
And that's great, man. That's all you need. It's back to that pat on the back thing, right? It's like, oh, there's a thing I made and people love it. That's all that matters. People resonate with it.
Yeah. Do you want to just go through some social handles while I find this thing? You can follow
What
us.
handles?
Just where we can be reached.
I would if I knew where we could be reached. Okay, well, the easiest one is bleedadvertising.com. That's where you can find all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also Instagram, which is bleed_advertising, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I need to get better at the handle thing.
So
It's bleed_advertising. And then on YouTube, it's bleed_advertising.
Yeah.
And I think there's also Twitter, but that's
Which is
Bleed Show, right?
Bleed
Because I got
Show,
that
yeah.
wrong once.
We've been saying it wrong like this whole
Yeah,
time.
but we never use it, so
Okay.
don't follow us there. I mean, you can, but it's not helping anyone.
Yeah. It's.
And then, what else is there?
Yeah, I think that's
There's
about it. Yeah.
You can also tell us.
Yeah, email us at bleedadvertising@gmail.com with complaints.
Exactly.
Only complaints. That's the only thing we'll respond to.
Also, we're on Spotify and the other ones, Deezer, I think.
YouTube.
Deezer nuts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're on RSS feed, all that shit. So I just wanted to give a shout out to a fan, bro.
We got a fan?
We've got a fan, bro. So I've been checking out the stats on our little Buzzsprout here, and we've got a fan in Clichy-Île-de-France. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Clichy or Clichy, yeah. Île-de-France, and they've downloaded every single episode basically. So
really? What are they? What is his or her or whatever pronoun they'd like to use names?
I have no idea because I'm only getting the stats. So
shout out to Cliche.
Yeah. I'm assuming that it's one person because it's like it's one very particular place and it's like regular. So anyways, shout out to you. Let us know who you are.
It's like something.
Yeah,
and lady was in love with you once and it's like, I'm going to front.
It's just a South African person. A South African person.
They just got an IP blocker. You know, one of the things that you can get Netflix in America. They're just like IP blockers.
Yeah, it's not even.
It's a VPN or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's just a VPN. Okay. Well, anyways, it's nice to think that we have at least one fan other than you and myself and my mom's. So yeah, and your mom's.
Mom like it. Mom hates it. She swears too much. No, listen.
My mom doesn't know about
it.
Doesn't. If my mom watched this and she saw how much I swore on this, she would not be. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. But that's it,
if
bro.
My mom watches like, why aren't you making money and just talking to your friend over Zoom. Why don't you go do something that's going to make money? I'm like, that's what I'm in advertising for. She's like, it could have been something else. My mom would be disappointed. Now I'm talking about something that's disappointing her. Imagine how disappointing. That's double disappointment.
Yo. And it's being recorded.
I think she thinks
everyone. You should have just told her, Mom, I'm an artist.
Yeah, everyone knows.
Don't make money. Artists don't make money. They make memes.
Yeah, that's deep. I think on that note.
on this depressing note, let's end the show. I'm gonna hit stop recording.
Get into advertising, disappoint your mom. That's what I'm joking. Advertising is cool, man.
So it used to be advertising the most fun you can have with your clothes on. Now it's like advertising, disappoint your mom.
I know you've hated me for some time now. Is too strong of an emotion to waste on somebody that you